Welcome back, Filmholics. My name is Kyle Kendrick, and in this channel you find anything and everything filmmaking. So, to get started on this thoughts on, it's going to be about Aputure's new lights. There are 4 new lights. There's going to be 100D, 100X, 200D, and 200X. So to start things off, I'm going to talk about the price points for all 4 of these lights, but they're going to be a little bit different because in different websites there are different prices for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we're going to start with the cheapest one. That's going to be the Aputure 100D, and that's going to be $250. Now for the 100X, and that's going to be $300. Now for the 200D, that's going to be $350, and then when you go to the 200X, that's going to be $400. And finally, these specs, the more exciting thing to talk about. I'm going to talk about each of these lights individually, and the D version first, and then the X version. That way you guys can see what features change. And the first light to talk about is going to be the Aputure 100D. And this D part means it's only going to be one color temperature. It's going to be 5600 Kelvin. Daylight. D, daylight. D, daylight. Boom. And also it has a 95 CRI, passive cooling, 100 watt output, AC/DC, power input, and then there's also going to be Bluetooth controls. There's going to be different effects. I believe there's going to be 8 different effects on these. I heard 12, I've heard 8, but the website says 8, so I'm going to stick with 8. It also has dimmable settings, and lastly it has a Bowens mount, so if you want to put a softbox on it, which I do suggest to do so, then you can do that. And now for the Aputure 100X. So there's going to be only 2 features that changed during this. If you go for the $50 upgrade, one is going to be that it's bicolor, which means it's going to go from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin, and that's great. But it's going to be less bright than the daylight version. So if you want something that's only daylight and brighter, then I would stick with the first one. But this has the same features as the one before it, and also has a fan cooling system. And finally, the last 2 lights, the Aputure 200D and the 200X. So these lights are gonna be basically the same as the first ones, whereas these lights though have 200 watts. And also has the 2 different features that change once you go with the $50 increment from the D to the X version of the light. The bicolor, daylight, daylight, bicolor. Passive cooling and, well, fan cooling. But I do hear the 200D versions and the 200X version is also louder. So if you don't want a lot of noise, if you're not gonna be out and about with the light, then yeah, I would stick with the 100. Now that you know the specs of each of these lights, I want to talk about who are each of these lights for. So the Aputure 100 and 200D is going to be basically the same thing. They're more for home and for like content like this where you're just a talking head and you're not gonna be doing much with it. You're not gonna take it everywhere you can. You're not gonna try and film a music video out and about in the streets with this thing because it's only a wall output. It doesn't have any V-mounts or anything like that. So it's gonna be more of like a content creator, which is great because if you are just doing this, if you're just talking to a camera like this, then it's perfect for you. The only 2 differences is one is for beginners and one is for intermediate in my personal opinion because, well, one is hella expensive, so you're gonna want to invest more in several lights than just that one light. And the next 2 lights, the X versions of the lights. So that's gonna be the Aputure 100X and 200X. And yes, it's still a home light, but in my personal opinion, you can do so much more. So you can take it other places and you can figure out how to power it in other places. So the fact that you have bicolor and you have so much more versatility with the fan cooling, it does help with more mobile filmmaking. It also helps to kind of dial in the perfect color temperature, and it just helps out. It's all that. It's meant for more of an intermediate again and more of a professional light with the 200X. So if you're more into bicolor, if you want to be able to change things, if you like things being very technical, then I would stick with the 200X and, well, 100X. But if you prefer just like straight out just gonna film, don't care about it, and yeah, then I'd go with the D versions of the lights. And to end things off, we're gonna talk about Kyle's conclusions about this. Yes, I'm gonna start that. I said in the last video as a joke, but I kinda like it. So let's talk big picture. Yes, in the price points that these lights are in, there are some lights like the Godox or GVM or newer lights. So why are these better? When there are other lights in the same price point with more features Well, that's because Aputure is basically the Apple of the lighting world. The reliability and just the quality from Aputure is usually a lot better. So if you prefer reliability over more features, then I would go for Aputure. But if you want to be very technical, like I said before, and you want to dial things in, you like more of a portable power system, then, well, I would go with the Godox or something else, because these lights are meant to do what they're meant to do, like an iPhone. An iPhone is meant to do only what an iPhone's meant to do. It's meant to simplify. It's meant for a monkey to be able to use it. But if you want something that can do stupid, weird, amazing stuff, then I would go with Androids, because you can customize it to all hell. But some people don't want that, because the reliability of a device is usually the best thing about the device. So is this light for you? Well, like I said, if you need that reliability, yes. But if you don't want that reliability and you want more features and you're really careful with a light, because sometimes the build quality won't be as good as Aputure's, then, well, I would go with the more or less expensive light that has all these features and has the capability to do so much more. But again, you can't rely on it as much as Aputure, so that's up to you. And if you want to check out these lights, go ahead and check the description down below. All the links are there for you. I do have only the Amazon one. I'm not a B&H affiliate. But speaking about that, it is an affiliate link, so that means it will help me out if you do purchase it, but there are no extra costs to you guys. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and also dream on.